George Pickens. I've heard a lot of things that's being said. George Pickens was loafing. He looked disinterested. Now, I respect the guys who have made their statements because I've been in this media game for a little bit. That's my dog, Richard Sherman, from Cali, Compton, California. And then obviously RC, he's doing his thing, and there's their opinion. I would also say they're DBs as well. Now, we all have played corner and wide receiver in high school, and
of course,
and all of that. And Richard Sherman has played receiver. He's played receiver at Stanford, played it in high school as well. But he didn't play wide receiver in the pros, and I didn't play corner in the pros. But I don't think I'm qualified to say that an individual seemed disinterested. So what did I do? I went back and watched the game.
Okay.
Rewatched it. And I just watched George Pickens plays. I watched him on run games, very heavily involved, came down, tried to crack the safety several times. There's a lot of people who are taking shots at George Pickens for reasons that the same thing that I've talked about last week. Man, when you're not on the sideline and you don't actually hear what the conversations are going on, man, a video, we say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Can I tell you something? Mm-hmm. A video will make 10,000 words confusing because you don't know what actually was said to know why that response was appropriate or inappropriate. You're reading body language, and we hear and I've heard all these people talk about body language, but yeah, you have no certificate or any job that says you're a body language expert.
Yeah, I don't even know if it exists.
It does. They have them on like E! News, TMZ, like they have them in the gossip category.
Yeah. Look at those slumped shoulders, Steve. You see the chin that it's down to the side?
Yeah, you see how he's holding. You see how he's not holding her top shoulder. He just has his hand at the middle of her back, but his bright pinky is a little bit, all of that. So I went back. Look, play 7, deep in the first quarter, 3rd and 10, ball on the 39, and ball was thrown into coverage, heavy coverage, and George Pickens goes up for the ball in traffic. If a guy is disinterested, I'm telling you, he's not doing that. And I go back and as soon as CeeDee Lamb gets hurt, it was tough to watch that.
It was. It really was.
Man, I hope that it is not something more severe and it kind of becomes a problem. But there are several plays, but when CeeDee Lamb goes down, you know what I was thinking when I was watching the film, and I wrote it down? I said, everybody's talking about George. I tell you somebody you need to talk about. You need to talk about this offensive coordinator who did not make any adjustments for George Pickens to run different routes. He ran his typical go route, his deep end, his slant, and he was not able to get a different route tree when CeeDee Lamb goes down.
Make it clear.
And the Lions
can he run a different route tree?
He can run a different route tree, but here's the thing. Even if he can't, you still got to give him an opportunity because you can't put him in that box when you're already saying, hey, this is a contract year. We want to see what we have. So give that man an opportunity to run every route on a route tree. Mm-hmm. Let him, if you really want to allow him to go grab his bag, or get that man that credit card with no limit on it. And see what he does. But you can't sit there in the middle of the football game and just keep running double moves with safety over the top. They had buzzing coverage underneath. They had linebacker buzzing underneath. The corner was playing underneath, saying, hey, I'm not biting on anything. And then the safety over the top. They were bracketing, buzzing to George Pickens once CeeDee Lamb went down. And when they had time to throw the football, they completed some passes to other guys because George was taking up 2 to 3 people every play.
Okay, let me ask you this, Steve.
Yes.
When you say that. Because I went back and watched Sherm's response to what George Pickens sent in, made public on it's now deleted on his social media post. And Sherm said this, and I'm kind of curious what your thought is. I get the play calling part. That's great insight. Sherm said, but if you're bracketed and if you're getting this extra attention, you still can't take the play off. Like, the best in the game still try to make plays.
But see, I didn't see him take a play off.
Okay.
I did not see him go, I'm not doing that.
Like, you didn't see the George run a route, see the extra attention, see the situation he was in terms of coverage rise, and go, well, we're not going to make a play here. You didn't see
Bro, if you don't throw him the ball and he's in double coverage and he's running a double go, how is that his fault? How is he disengaged? Here's disengaged. If a man doesn't move, if a guy does not run the route, he's always been a galloper, so it looks like he's not running. That is his play style. You got to go watch film and know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But to say that he was disinterested, I would say that he was possibly frustrated. I can say I know that for a fact because every receiver, when you're getting double teamed and your offensive coordinator does nothing to help you get out of this double team and triple team, you get a little frustrated.
Hence probably why the social media post was sent. I mean, you don't send that unless you're irritated after the game for a variety of reasons. Obviously.
You are irritated, and yes, you're irritated because some of the guys who have been here knows exactly what goes on. And you can't control. I've been frustrated a lot as well. Really? And there has times where I was like, they on this BS today. And you know what I've done? To get my chi back?
Find yourself.
I take myself out of the game, put a towel over my head, and go through my process to get back focused, because I'm no good to my team if I'm just pissed off and not focused and not dialed in.
When you read this social media post by George Pickens, were you thinking to yourself at all, would have completely sent that if this was around when I was in my prime, that I would have been on social media sending this? Would you have done that?
Absolutely, yeah. In today's, you see how I respond to people sometimes on regular. So yeah. Now I use Simply Safe. I got a new place and I'm sitting here and I go back and forth. I'm always somewhere, but I'm never really at home on a consistent basis. And I really love Simply Safe because there's no contracts. You can cancel at any time. But I love on the app, you can utilize and see everything that's going on. It's just not there to secure and have security for your home. It also prevents crimes from happening. They will get on the horn and try and will get those bad guys out of the way. But the biggest thing I love about Simply Safe, when you're traveling, one of the biggest things I love right here, they got a water sensor. Now, what is this water sensor? Like, Steve, what are you talking about, a water sensor? Here's what I love about the water sensor. They have this little old gadget. And this gadget, you just take it and you sit it on the floor or by the toilet or under the sink. And if a little bit of drop of water comes out, it just doesn't beep at the house. Because beeping at the house and you're not home, that doesn't work. But right now, you can get an alert. And by getting an alert, you can have somebody come in and it prevents a lot of damage. Some of the biggest issues right now in winter is pipes freezing and all of a sudden you've lost. Getting robbed is one thing, but losing everything you own and worked hard for over some water damage, that's something that you don't want to do. Simply Safe gives you that opportunity to safeguard not just your home, but safeguard your valuables from from things that are not present that you're unaware of, and that's water. So Simply Safe will take care of you. Take it from me. I love Simply Safe, and Simply Safe has put my mind at ease when I'm traveling. This month only, take 50% off your new system. This is one of the best prices you will ever see for Simply Safe. Don't miss it. Hit simplysafe.com/89show. Again, that's simplysafe.com/89show and lock in your discount. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
It's such a difficult, and I've always been curious about this because I've been a journalism side of it, not a former player, then being put in the situation where you need to critique guys that are doing and playing the game that you loved and playing the game that you played, and they're still, you're part of that player fraternity still, Steve, but now you have to critique the fraternity. It's a hard spot to be in, and that's why also I understand why players take offense to it. Like, hey man, you're part of the fraternity. You're ripping me apart. Like, I do get both sides of it. In the way it is. And Sherm did say, like, man, the reason I'm being critical too is I think he can be one of the best receivers in football. I have high expectations for him. I understand that part of it too. But I also, like, Steve, I get George being upset. You can't say Sherm doesn't know ball. You can't say that the Legion of Boom made Sherm, like, he was an all-pro in San Francisco before he got there. Like, I understand being frustrated and taking some shots.
Yeah.
But this isn't a no-name guy making some...
Yeah, but even a guy with a name like myself, and there's film out there where you got beat. There's film out there where you dropped a pass. There's film out there where you have come up short. There is film to show that you weren't perfect as the way you're explaining it on whatever platform you're on. And I've fallen in that same category, right? When I was on the podcast with Arnold and Surtain just last week on Closed Sundays, and those young bucks schooling the old cat on, hey, AOG, when you say something like this, it hits differently. It stings. And I was like, okay, because I was also raised where you heard what you did wrong than you did right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the right way. I'm just willing to put myself out there and say, hey, this is what I mean, or this is what I saw.
I'll tell you one thing. George has heard a lot this year of what he's done right.
Man, he's a
lot.
Look, I even wrote this. I said I saw George run his normal straight line routes.
There you go.
That's not his fault. He doesn't get to pick the plays. And if you're going to say, well, yes, he does, then why are y'all bitching, complaining about the last play with Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns?
Oh. Good point.
So you got to hold coaches accountable the same way you're going to try to hold these players.
Mm-hmm. And there is some of that in what George wrote. Like, this is a team game.
Yeah, it is. And we haven't heard. I don't care who helped write it. I don't care who has helped him write it, or if he did, or if he wrote help, or he didn't. Here's what I like. I like a young man saying, "Hey, the perception of me is this. I want to continue to be my authentic self, but I also want to show people that I have matured. He's not going to be all of a sudden immature and a grown man." The next day, right?
Yeah.
But he's balancing trying to be a professional, but also, being a young man and say, hey, man, get off my case. And don't misrepresent me, because when media are saying that a person is disinterested, a person gave up on the team, that's a negative. Yeah. That stays with you throughout your career.
Good point.
And I feel. What'd you say?
I get what you're saying. When you're talking about a man's effort, his want to,
yes,
those things that honestly, those things come into play when we're talking about contract negotiations.
Yes. So my thing is, overall, I disagree. I went back and watched all his plays. George Pickens did not look disinterested. George Pickens did not loaf. There were times I think he probably shouldn't have the ball shouldn't have went his way, and times it should have.
Mm-hmm.
But Dak didn't have enough time anyway, half the time.
Yeah. Well, Dak kept going to him because he still goes, this is a hell of a player. I still got to go this way.
But there were times where he wanted to go to him and he couldn't because they had 2 and 3 people on him.
Yeah.
That's not his fault. The funniest part about all of this is it was all DBs that were criticizing another wide receiver. It wasn't a wide receiver. It was just DBs. Now, I understand we're all football players and we all have interchangeable positions in high school, middle school. I played a lot of different positions. I played DN, I played H-back, I played halfback, wide receiver, right? But safety. But I'm a receiver. And I try to stay in the receiver category. Now, I watch DBs and footwork, but I'm not going to – I thought to hear other DBs, non-receivers, talk about someone's effort, thought that was very shocking and a bit confused.
Well, I would say this. When we put this, a button on this, Steve, it didn't seem like Brian Schottenheimer had a problem with it. Didn't seem like Jerry Jones. He came out publicly and said he didn't have a problem with it. So I think they know where they stand with their receivers. So.
Well, you know why they didn't have a problem with it? Because they know he wasn't loafing, and they know he wasn't disinterested. That's why.